Devin Vassell is back. Let's talk about his impact and preview tonight's Spurs-Kings game.
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome back to Locked On Spurs, right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Happy Monday, everybody. Hope you all had a great weekend. We are back covering all things silver and black. Subscribe at, Locked On Spurs over at Ken's 5 Plus app, YouTube, iTunes. You know where to go. Pick a platform. We are there. The entire Locked On Network is on every major podcasting platform and, of course, on YouTube. So make sure you go subscribe right now. Today's episode is sponsored by Game Time. Download Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNB for $20 off your first purchase. Make sure to do that right now. Hey, what are we doing today? We're going to be discussing Devin Vassell's return. What do we like in his one game? I know one game sample size, but still, what does this mean for the Spurs moving forward? What do you think he will bring to the team, again, moving forward? And just dive into all things Vassell. And then quickly preview tonight's Spurs-Kings game. Hey, return to former Spurs, DeMar DeRozan, and stop me, you've heard this name before, Trey Lyles. Remember him? Yeah, he's back. Two former Spurs are going to be visiting San Antonio today as the Spurs continue their long homestand. Hopefully they can pick up a win, but more on that in a bit. Yeah, so Devin Vassell is back. Good to see the Spurs, arguably second best player on the court. And I think we're going to get into it in a few minutes, look at some numbers and whatnot. But I think if he stays healthy, that's the key. This team could be formidable once it is at 100% health. And it's all about Trey Jones back and Sohan back. But you like what you saw in one game out of DeMar DeRozan. I'm sorry, out of Devin Vassell, excuse me. And, it was a loss. And yes, Devin did take the loss hard, but I'm glad he's back. I think all Spurs fans are back. And more importantly, I think the team is glad that their second best player is back. He's going to make so much positive impact on this squad. I cannot wait to see how the season unfolds now with Devin back. Let's going to bring in our guest. He is Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. Rudy is rocking the MCS hat. Way to go, man. Shout out to MCS, man. Those guys are awesome over there. Layhound crew, pretty cool guys.
The thing that we got to remember too with MCS, just a quick heads up to everybody out there, they have a little promotion going on for Thanksgiving. So I know, Jeff, you got a really big following. So for those of y'all heading up there, go to their Twitter page, MCS General Contracting, and follow the rules, man. Enter that giveaway. It's a pretty good one. Absolutely.
Yeah. Make sure to follow Rudy as well at Sweep the League on X, and check out his show, Sweep the League, on YouTube. He's going to promote that later on in today's show. But as always, we thank Rudy for coming off the bench and taking some time out of his busy schedule to join us here at Locked On Spurs. Just a heads up, everybody, Rudy's kind of on a time crunch, so we're going to hit the warp hyperdrive. I'm going to tell Rudy, hey, punch it. And he's going to punch it like the Falcon. So we'll get through this pretty quick. But hey, Rudy, let's dive into the big news of the last few days is Devin Vassell's return. He looked sharp. He looked good. It looked like he didn't miss too much of a beat. Kind of a shaky start. But I'm going to go ahead and dive into it real fast. I am glad the Spurs secondary primary player is back. I mean, seriously, knowing if you're Wembanyama, knowing you got that guy next to you now who can take the load off the offensive end, who can hit the three occasionally, who brings in a lot of experience playing with San Antonio. He's been already with the team for a while now. I think it's going to bode well for Wembanyama. That's my first ripple effect, is how much he's going to help Wemby carrying the offensive load, because he dropped 21 points in his return to the court, Rudy.
Yeah, you're looking at 21 points in 22 minutes. Really shot well from the field, 50% from three-point range, 8 of 13 overall from the field. So you're going to see the second, the second, I guess, the part of the dynamic duo between Wemby and Devin Vassell. I know I questioned whether Devin or Keldon was actually the second best, but Devin clearly shows why he is, and it does make a lot the team. It makes it a lot easier for the team, especially Wemby. But what also you see is it kind of trickles down. You saw Stephon Castle in Devin Vassell's return. He had a really good game with 23 points. You're able to see Chris Paul just run the show. So the Spurs team with Devin Vassell is a better team. But the one thing I will say on the cautious side is, as good of a return is, and I'm glad he's back. It was against Utah, one of the lower end teams. So let's see him play against, a team coming up that we're going to preview with the Kings a little bit better team in the Western Conference, but
Yeah.
overall, great return for Devin Vassell, and I'm excited to see the Spurs team with him in the lineup.
Look at Rudy already raining on the parade, everybody. Way to go, Rudy.
No, not even. I'm glad he's back. What I really want to see, and I'll say this: what I eventually want to see is I want to see Harrison Barnes go
Yeah.
to and come off the bench. I hate to say that as a starter, uh,
Yeah.
but I like the Castle, Paul, Vassell, Wemby foursome, and then when Sohan comes back, you can put him in the mix at the four. So I like that little trio in the backcourt. Nothing against Harrison Barnes, but I think with him coming off with Zach Collins and also eventually with Trey Jones when he gets back, Keldon Johnson, I think that makes the bench a lot better. So no, not raining on a parade. I love that Devin's back. I'm glad he's back. But again, just on the cautious side, he had a great game against Utah. I just want to see him have continued great games, but against higher competition like the Kings that we're about to talk about.
Yeah. I think that's a good point you brought up. Is that it was against one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in the NBA, Utah Jazz. But look, you got to start somewhere. It was against the Jazz. It was against the Jazz. So be it. We're seeing Devin Vassell right now in the photo, and I'm leaving it there for a reason. You see, he's taking the shot from deep. Do you think he's going to help the Spurs in the three-ball department? Because the Spurs haven't really been that great of a three-point shooting team this season.
No, he's been one of the better 3-point shooters when he's played the game for the San Antonio Spurs. I think he's going to bring more shooting for the team as well, especially from beyond the arc. The improvement's going to be right there. He's going to add improvement to the 3-point shooting. Also, you mentioned both Harrison Barnes, Champagnie's been doing pretty good from 3-point range when he's hot. So he adds another dimension. I think the improvement is there for 3-point attempts and shooting percentage for the Spurs. So yeah, he's going to add it. He's going to bring something good about it. I just wish we would, and I say this on the eve or on the end of a great game by Victor, but I just wish he would cut back. And I don't know if Devin playing is going to cut Victor back from shooting beyond the arc. I kind of hope it does, so he doesn't have to carry that weight beyond the arc. But yeah, it's going to add another dimension for the Spurs. And I think with Chris Paul, it's going to help him get his shot off a lot quicker.
Yeah, let's look at some numbers now. We know for his career, he's trajecting in the right direction. So we'll start off with points per game. We'll go to the 22-23 season where he averaged 18.5. Following season, 19.5. And of course, we're not counting yesterday or the couple of days ago game because just one game. But so far, he's trending in the right direction. Go a bit further. In the 21-22 season, he was averaging 12. So he went from 12, 18 to 19 last year. So again, positive growth. We want to talk about, we'll just pick something. Perfect. Assist. He went from 2 assists in his sophomore season to 3.6 in the 22-23 season, 4 in last season. So again, he's trending in the right direction. Let's talk about field goal percentage. Same thing. 22-23 season, 43%. Last season, 47%. He is definitely going in the right direction. I think that's exactly what the Spurs need in a rebuild. They don't need the players, I should say, kind of slacking or not kind of keeping up with the rebuild. This is a guy that's going along with the team as far as getting out of the rebuild, and he's making an impact on the court as the numbers just showed it. We're talking with Rudy Campos right here on Locked On Spurs about Devin Vassell and his return. He made an incredible impact. But are there any downsides or anything else that we should be worried about? Rudy brought up one because the competition, but looking a little further out, should we be maybe pumping the brakes a bit? We're going to be discussing that in just a few minutes. But first, I want to talk to you about FanDuel. Hey, I want to talk to you about FanDuel. You want to go to FanDuel.com right now. Hey, NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So much when you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You just got to go to FanDuel.com right now. Speaking of FanDuel.com, look, the NBA season is also around the corner. Spurs fans, time to have some fun with your silver and black on the court. The app is very easy to get, very easy to use, user-friendly, very intuitive. Make your picks, 1, 2, 3. Bet on parlays, bet on win spreads, totals. I mean, seriously, you can have so much fun with sports this sports season with FanDuel. Again, America's #1 sports book. You just got to get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Yeah, you'll get started with that. And when you place your first $5 bet, you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Another reason why you got to go to FanDuel when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Go to FanDuel.com right now, America's #1 sportsbook. Hey, I want to talk to you about Mudslinger's drive-through coffee. Go there right now, San Antonio, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive, open every single day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. They have it all. Great menu, cold drinks, hot drinks, coffee, the signature drink, Mudslinger, iced lattes. Pick something you're craving, they'll have it. Check out the menu. A proud local sponsor of Locked On Spurs and a proud community member serving San Antonio the best coffee in the city. Go there right now, open every single day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. They have the Lightning Bolt series, which includes the Alien, which is a drink made in honor of Victor Wembanyama. You got to try it. Speaking of which, hey, they have these drinks, like I was mentioned right now, the Lightning Bolt series. They're going to be containing Lotus Energy. That's 7 power plant extracts. That gives them flexibility to create new drinks. But if you want Red Bull, you just tell them and they'll put it in there. But the default will be Lotus Energy. Go there right now, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive. They even got mini donuts. Best spot in the city to get yourself some coffee. Go there right now, San Antonio. Follow them on social media at Mudslinger SATX. Go there right now because life is too short for bland coffee.
This is Emilio Rivera, the Padrino for the Mayans MC. You are listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
So we're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. Follow my next at Sweep the League. Rudy, I hear that with all the political turmoil that it's going on right now, that you are the absolute person to go to calm everybody down in these troubling times. Is that correct? You're that global.
Yeah, I have a global reach, so I'm trying to keep everybody in peace, keep the country, keep the world in peace. That's what you get on a certain Sweep the League episode. We like to keep everybody in peace. The only wars we have, Jeff, are the Cowboys going to be good or not? And God, we kind of win the war of they're not going to be good. So there's more fighting there than there is in the world today.
Follow my next at Sweep the League, and we're talking about Devin Vassell's return. So we talked a lot about the positives in the previous segment. We showed that where he's trending in the right direction. What he did in the Utah game, A+ Devin, way to go. Now, he brought up a good point about the competition level. It was against Utah now, but Utah was definitely giving it to San Antonio. It took them to the very bitter end to shake off the Spurs, and unfortunately, Utah got the W. But perhaps the other elephant in the room is this. And again, I'm not trying to rain on the parade. Everybody's excited that Devin Vassell's back. I think we should be concerned about his injury situation. This is a guy who has a history of getting hurt. Just look at the history. Don't take my word for it. Go look it up yourselves, everybody. He's acknowledged it. He's even said last year to close out the season, he wants to have as close to a 2-game season. And hopefully that'll happen this season. So as much as I love that he's back, I'm going to be keeping that in the back of my head. Every time he falls on the court, if he's out of game, even if it's for rest management, I'm going to be, oh, good Lord, hope he's not hurt again. Is that something that we should be keeping an eye on, Rudy, with Devin Vassell's return?
See the thunderstorm from Jeff Garcia is raining on everybody's parade.
Man,
I'll say this.
Yeah.
In the 4 previous seasons that he's had with the San Antonio Spurs, it feels like it's been injury riddled. Mm-hmm. But if we look at it, Jeff, only 1 year, the 22-23 season, he played 38 games. The other 3 seasons, 62, 71, 68. Yeah. So that's a good part and a good majority of the games. I understand. I think what it is more is that he gets hurt at the most in awkward times. I guess I'm using the word right. It's in the times where they're rolling, and then bam, he's injured for a year. He seems like he's out for 20 games when in reality he's maybe out 5-6 games. Yeah. So I think because of the losing, it magnifies it a lot more. But I will say this. The injuries are a concern, but not really. He's played way more games than a lot of us have expected, or maybe even realized it. He just had that one injury-riddled season where he played 38 games in the year. The rest of them have been 60 plus, which is, like I said, 3/4 of the season. I mean, hell, Kawhi load manages more games and all that, and a lot of
does
other
he even
games.
play, Rudy? Does he play? Does Kawhi
No,
play?
he doesn't even.
No, he doesn't play. That's what
I think he
thought.
gets injured playing NBA 2K. That's how bad he is. So, but even LeBron, I mean, LeBron, you see him playing 70 games, maybe 68 games. So I'm not too concerned because I think he's right on track to play a good amount of games this season. I think they're going to be a little more careful. Hence the Harrison Barnes signing. That's pretty much the same position, so you can kind of limit Devin on minutes. And that's going to be a good thing. You won't see him play probably the 33, 34 minutes he's used to playing.
Another ripple effect of this is what will it do impacting Julian Champagnie? Here's a guy who got the start for Vassell. And for the most part, Champagnie's been shooting the ball well. I know he's been kind of up and down, but overall, since preseason till now, he's been doing good. Him coming off the bench might be exactly what the Spurs need. To have more firepower coming off that bench as a threat. What do you think about that? Do you think moving, obviously Champagnie's going to move to the bench. That's going to happen once the Spurs feel confident that Vassell's going to start. Do you think that's going to help Champagnie or hurt him? Maybe put him back in a natural position? I think it's going to help him coming off the bench, though.
Man, he starts for the Spurs. He's actually playing decent this year. Sometimes that confidence really does get bothered if you get moved to the bench, and I understand it. It's a tough thing to swallow, tough pill to swallow. But I mean, in NBA terms and NBA reality, he's not a starter, not just yet. So I think he'll be okay with it. I think he understands his role. His role is to come in, knock down a few shots, and nothing more. Think of him like I'm not saying he's this guy, but think of him in like a Kyle Korver type of move, just coming in, knock down a couple of threes, some key shots where they need them, stuff like that. Most notably, maybe a Duncan Robinson type of player. So that's where I think Champagnie fits the most. But I think it maybe will rattle him a little, but I think he also expects it to be coming off the bench. So I don't expect him to really fall off a cliff, if that's what I'm trying to get at here.
Yeah, and again, we're not trying to pump the brakes too much on Devin Vassell's return. I think obviously it's overwhelmingly positive. I think that's the consensus between me and Rudy here. It's obviously A+. He's back. Yay, Spurs. Let's go get some W's now. One other thing I think we need to highlight too that I think the Spurs lacked while Vassell was out was somebody who can at least be a threat on the mid-range shot. So look at what he did against Utah. He connected on 5 mid-range shots. He actually went from the mid-range, if you want to look at it, 5 for 6 from the mid-range. Okay? He hit about 3 threes. That's exactly what this team needs. Because with Wemby, he's either inside or he's 3-shot. Do you see him having a mid-range game? I don't. No. I haven't seen it yet. But with Vassell, with Wemby, no. With Vassell, you now have that element. The pick and roll is going to be a little bit more effective, knowing that Devin can be a threat in the mid-range shot. I think that is a great thing that we're overlooking here is the mid-range game. Because for the most part, to start the season, I really haven't seen that from any player. Maybe Chris Paul. Maybe see it from time to time. But a legit threat in the mid-range shot, Devin, oh, man. Hey, we were talking about DeMar DeRozan coming back today. Yay, hopefully he rubbed off on Devin while they're here. But I think that's an element of his game that the Spurs are going to need. Rudy, your thoughts?
Yeah, the mid-range game is so important. That's something that outside of Chris Paul, really, I don't even know anybody else. You're right, that is on the team. Maybe Stephon Castle, but he's more inside, get to the basket. Devin's going to bring in a whole new element that the Spurs don't have, and that is that mid-range game. And that's what I was kind of saying, that maybe with him returning, you're able to see guys like Harrison Barnes kind of come off the dribble, take that mid-range shot. Same with maybe Stephon Castle, even Victor. Victor could get into it where he's starting to get more mid-range shots as well, because defenses are going to have to respect the fact that Devin is a pretty good three-point shooter, probably one of the best three-point shooters on the team. So you might see a bigger element for the team. It might add a little bit more. But being that Devin is the only mid-range guy, the consistent mid-range guy, I'll say it now, if they want to win, they're going to probably have to make a move to get somebody who can be like Devin, more like a DeMar DeRozan, like mid-range game. You got to take the easier baskets, and that's the problem. If Victor's not going to play in the paint, you're going to have somebody else that can knock down that mid-range jumper.
Yes, since we only have a 1-game sample size, we'll get 2 tonight after the game's over, but we're looking at last season. So between 10 to less than 16 feet, which is about the mid-range, Devin shot 55%. So again, not too bad. Again, just the threat that is there, and I think that's going to work wonders for this team, for Devin, for Wemby, for everybody. And I feel that once this team is close to 100%, hopefully, they will get to see that this team could be sneaking up on teams, at least during the regular season. This is a team, the Spurs, that other teams cannot sleep on as the season moves on. But yeah, Devin's return is awesome. I know a lot of Spurs fans are excited. He got a great warm welcome back to the court from the fans at the Frost. After the game, he did shout out the team doctors, Kawhi Leonard, and he said it wasn't for them. He wouldn't be back, healthy, ready to go. He said he's glad that chapter in his career is over. So thumbs up. He was excited to play with Castle, get to really get out there with them. He talked about how frustrated it was for him to be on the sidelines and not be out there with his teammates. So that's all but over. I think the Spurs are going to be sitting pretty moving forward. But as Rudy mentioned, DeMar DeRozan and the rest of those guys in Sacramento, well, they're here in San Antonio. We're going to preview tonight's game with Rudy Campos and talk about the X's and O's. What should the Spurs be looking for? De'Aaron Fox. I know somebody on this show right now has been talking about De'Aaron Fox a lot and so much more. But hey, first I want to talk to you about game. Hey, I want to talk to you about Game Time. Go to gametime.co right now. Game Time is a new feature called Game Time Picks. Makes getting tickets easier for your favorite live events that much better. Game Time filters out the fluff, so you only get incredible deals on great seats. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands and thousands of tickets. Hey, Game Time has it all. They have the super deal. They got seats view before you buy. They got curated deals to make it easier to find the best price on great seats. The lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, job loss protection. You will be pleasantly surprised with this app. Go get it right now. Game Time Picks. Again, that's a curation that makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater. Hey, they have the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Game Time ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It is game time.
Hey everybody, this is Nathan Ray Clark from Criminal Minds and Modern Family, and you are listening to Locked On Spurs, hosted by Victor Wembanyama's new best friend, Jeff Garcia.
We're back right here on Locked On Spurs with the legend himself, Rudy Campos. What I mean by legend, this is a guy, and there's video proof out there, that went one-on-one with Bigfoot, beat him up so bad throwing hands. That's the reason why Bigfoot is now antisocial. That's why he hides from everybody. He's afraid that Rudy's going to pop up and just beat him up again. Rudy, how did you take down a beast full of just rage? How did you do that?
Well, on the defensive side, you obviously got to body him up low so you keep him out of the post. And I was able to do that. And remember, as tall as he is, when the ball goes down, it takes a while to come back up. So it's easy for me to swipe the ball, being that I'm a short guy. Offensively, Jeff, you've just got to dribble. There's no shot clock in the street game. So
yeah,
you dribble. You tire him out. Once he bends over just a little bit to catch that breath, you go right to the basket and get the layup in. Shout out to Bigfoot. Because of the domination that I gave him on the court, I have now been blocked on all social media and my phone calls because Slender Man won't give me a call back. I've been trying to challenge Slender Man, and he's just not calling me back there.
Yeah, I think you can take him. You get that low center of gravity. I think that's going to bother him.
Yeah. I got the slow center of gravity and the big body too.
All right. Make sure to follow Rudy on X at SweepTV. Ask him about his one-on-one with Bigfoot. Maybe he'll give you more details. But it's time to preview tonight's game, Spurs-Kings. Spurs continue their homestand. They're going to be here in San Antonio for a long time as they host the return of DeMar DeRozan, Trey Lyles, technically he was a former Spur, here at the Frost. The Spurs come into tonight's game 4-6, and they're coming off a home loss to the Utah Jazz, 111-110. Keep in mind the Spurs will likely be without Sohan, Trey Jones, obviously Coach Popovich. He's out because of illness, and everybody knows by now Mitch Johnson is the interim coach. Let's kick it off. I want to start off already with just two guys to keep an eye on tonight's game. That's DeMar DeRozan and De'Aaron Fox. So in DeMar DeRozan's career versus the Spurs, he's dropping numbers on San Antonio. 22 points per game, 4 assists, 3.5 rebounds in 22 games versus the Silver and Black, while De'Aaron Fox has averaged 25 points, 6.3 assists, 3.4 rebounds in 19 career games versus San Antonio. These are two guys that love to feast on the Spurs. That's going to be a tall task, considering not only you got to worry about those two guys, but you got Sabonis. You got Monk, who looks like he's coming back. Really, the Spurs might have their handfuls tonight, don't they?
The biggest surprise of the Kings is they're only 5-4 on the season as of right now, going into the game.
Yeah.
It's crazy because you've got three guys for the Kings that are averaging 20 plus a game. They combined for 68 points just in three guys, in Sabonis, Fox, and DeRozan. So you're right. It's going to be a tough task. Both DeRozan and Fox tend to eat up the Spurs, and Sabonis can be a real pest at sometimes. Key for me has got to be Keegan Murray. You got to be able to keep your eyes on Keegan Murray. If he gets hot from beyond the arc, it's pretty much donezo for the Spurs. But the other biggest part too is you got to worry about is DeMar, man. He just picks you off left and right. Just picks at everything. The mid-range game when it's going, you just can't stop him. And if you put double team, even triple team the guy, like I mentioned, you got De'Aaron Fox, who hopefully brings some of his luggage and leaves it in San Antonio.
Here we go.
Everything at the end of the year. They're a great team, and they can kill you from inside, outside. Fast breaks are probably going to be key for the Spurs to stop the fast breaks. All in all, it's going to be a tough game.
Yeah. Keep an eye on the scoreboard, everybody. This season, the Spurs are undefeated. 3-0, I'll take it, when they're leading after the third period overall. So they're ahead after 3. Yeah, I like they're going to get the W. So keep an eye on that scoreboard. Yeah, I like the night's matchup. I think it's going to test the Spurs' mettle. This is a team that is not Utah. This is a team with youth as well. Veteran experience, DeMar, Malik Monk, Sabonis. I think the Sabonis-Wemby matchup is going to be fun to watch. I mean, seriously, I'm going to love to see Steph Castle if they put him on DeMar DeRozan. Just to see those kind of matchups. It's going to be a fun matchup. But also, shout out Wemby. He looks like he's finally turning that corner, although he says there never was a corner to turn. But he scored double figures in the last 6 games. 6 games straight. He's putting up numbers. And, of course, defensively, we all know what he's doing. Rudy, they should just give him the DPOY right now, right? Seriously. Just why even wait? Just here you go, Wemby. Yeah, here you go. And by the way, it's fill in the blank. So we'll start 2024, and then we're going to leave it blank and just write in the date when you want to stop winning this award, because he is just stopping. 9 blocks. He almost had another triple-double recently in the loss to Utah. So, and the 3-shot, at least for a game, was falling. He had a very interesting, moment about the 3-shot after the loss to Utah, where he said he's never going to just keep on shooting 66%, but he's also going to sometimes hit 25% from the 3 line. And he said that they don't want to overreact either way. So he knows what it's about. It's just about development and keeping on for the 3-shot. Going to be a fun game. The Spurs and Kings. I'm going to go on the limb here. I say the Spurs get the W. I think they get the W. What about you, Rudy? Rain on the parade. Rain on the parade.
So I'm the Debbie Downer of Locked On Spurs.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Somebody left a comment about me being a Debbie Downer.
I'll say this much. I can understand why you would give them the W. They're playing a very tough game tonight in Phoenix.
Yeah.
I mean, last night they played a tough game in Phoenix. So it's a late game coming into San Antonio early this morning. Yeah, I guess you could say the Spurs have an advantage because they're not going to be well rested. You know what, Jeff? I'm gonna go on a limb and say
All right.
barely wins. Sacramento barely wins. I
Barely
had
wins.
you going
Oh
for a
no,
while.
I was
I
applauding
had
you,
you
saying
for a
thinking
while.
like
No,
you got me.
give me Sacramento. I'm gonna take Sacramento tonight. I think they beat the Spurs, but it'll be a close one. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout though.
Yeah, I'm hoping the back to back for Sacramento is going to impact them tonight. So that's what I'm putting my money on. Like, please let that tough game versus Phoenix, exhaust them, and then they got to travel and then get ready and minimal sleep and get up for the game. While the Spurs are just resting and they get a practice and shoot around before the game. So hopefully that'll help the Spurs. He is Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. Make sure to follow my next at Sweep the League. Tell us what's going on Sweep It. You guys have been bringing in some great guests lately.
Yeah, so we've been bringing in guests. We've had Mario Ellie, we've had Speedy Claxton, Pete Babcock. Most recently, we had one of San Antonio basketball legends, played for East Central, Dante Mathis. We're working on getting a Detroit, Michigan basketball legend as well. So we're supposed to have him on last week, but we're going to get him on this week. But also, we've had a really big success with another launch for Sweep the League called Sweeps Unplugged. Just go to YouTube, go search Sweep the League TV, be a subscriber. We actually gave away a Keon Coleman autographed Buffalo Bills jersey.
Nice.
Recently, we've got a lot of stuff that we're giving away. So best way to do it is just join our YouTube page, Sweep the League TV, hit subscribe, and continue to go on. And I'm trying to get you on, Jeff. I don't get the text messages back, so I'm trying to get you on.
Oh my God! Okay, well then consider this me letting you know.
Wait.
Yeah, just let me know a time.
In defense for you, I forgot to send some of the texts. I would keep messing with it, but I always say, okay, I'm texting Jeff, and then I get busy at work and I forget. So I need to get you on here pretty soon. Spurs season started, so we got to talk
But
Spurs.
I try to participate as much as I can when the shows are live.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to go in there and show you some support and throw you some questions, get the conversation going. Yeah.
I'll tell you this much. I'll tell you this much for everybody out there. We're working on a former Spur, and if that former Spur comes on, which I talked to him, he's actually going to be coming on here soon. We're going to have Jeff live with us on that show.
I got to do that one. Yeah, I know who it is.
Yeah, he's going to do a lot of former Spurs stuff with us. So just be on the lookout for that.
See there, more reason to check out Sweep the League at Sweep the League on X. That's Rudy's handle, and then of course on YouTube, the same thing, Sweep the League. Go subscribe right now, Rudy. We thank you for making Locked On Spurs making it time just to come out here and talk all things silver and black. So I definitely appreciate that. Everybody else, we appreciate y'all as well for subscribing to Locked On Spurs on the Kens 5 Plus app, YouTube, iTunes, pick a platform. I am just thankful that you guys are subscribing. Heads up, everybody, we got a newsletter. The link is in the description below. Go click on that right now. Sign up. It's like a companion piece to the Locked On Spurs show. You'll get it there daily in your inbox. It's just fun little thing where we discuss and a little write-up. Go subscribe to it right now. Again, the link for that is below you right there. Just go click down there, subscribe, easy, and it's free. So hopefully y'all do that. We'll be back tomorrow talking all things Spurs. I think Casey Vieira, yes, my colleague at Kens 5, he's making his return. Heads up, everybody. He loves the dad life, so likely will be audio only because I know what it's like. I've been at his house when he has his little one running around everywhere, and he gets real busy. So we'll be bringing Casey on tomorrow right here on Locked On Spurs. So for Rudy Campos, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.